All right, all right, all right. Three, two, one. What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik, and we are here talking Chicago Bears again. It's a blessing just to be able to sit down and talk about your team and go into some depth and do some stuff, right? So, if you have not yet liked the video, please do so now. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. But we're going to talk about the newcomers. So, when I say newcomers, let me define that real quick. I'm talking about draft picks, I'm talking about players acquired via trade, and obviously, we're talking about free agent signings. So, I want to just kind of preface this by saying we're going into week 6. Bears have only played 4 games. So, it's not like this is a definitive thing across the whole entire season. But through week 4, this is kind of what the grades are. And I'll let you know it's based off of me watching literally every single play of every single game. And also consulting Pro Football Focus, looking at what some of the grades are there. So I kind of put it all together. I did letter grades for the most part. I do reference Pro Football Focus, but for the most part, we do letter grades. Let's jump right into it, though. We're going to start off with the incompletes, right? So this is people we don't have enough information on to even give a grade. So the first person I want to talk about is Zah Frazier. He's on the non-football injury list. He's going to miss all of 2025. Cornerback, the Bears drafted out of UTSA in the 5th round. One of the biggest things that I think we need to talk about before we do anything, because I think this is important just from a humane standpoint, right? There's a lot of speculation and people, on social media, online period, speculating why Zah Frazier is out. Nobody, he knows, I'm sure the Bears know, maybe some people really close to him know, but the public doesn't know. Most people don't know. So I looked at some Reddit threads. We got people saying all kinds of stuff. Some people are saying his girlfriend passed away. Nobody knows anything. I'm not saying those things are wrong, but I'm saying none of that is founded, and I wouldn't go around repeating that because unless you're just one of the type of people that don't care if what you're saying is real or true or not. So I wouldn't go around repeating that because there's no foundation for it at this point. But the thing about Zah Frazier from a football standpoint is the dude just physically just seemed like he really could help the Bears. And if you look at what's going on right now with the Bears, with the shortage that they have at corner, it definitely is like, they could actually really use this guy. 6'3". He had a just lights out combine, right? Which I think is what really put him on the radar with the Bears. I mean, athleticism galore. He ran a 40 and 4.36. He had a 36.5 vertical at the combine, 10.6 broad jump, and he's 6'3", 186 pounds. We're talking about a big corner. So I was super excited when the Bears drafted him. Like, I think this is absolutely worth a 5th round pick. We can see what happens. But unfortunately, he is out, won't play football this year. I'm just hoping and praying for the best for him as a human being. And then, of course, hopefully, as a Bears fan, he can get on the field and make an impact. But as of right now, we do not have enough to grade Zah Frazier on. But nobody knows for real why he's out, except for people who are not sharing it online. So if you see it online, unless it comes from Zah Frazier or unless it comes from the Bears, I would not believe it, and I certainly would not repeat it. All right, our next incomplete is Luke Newman. I'm going to apologize to Luke right now. This is one of the only pictures they had of you, bro, in a Bears uniform or whatever. He don't look like he can understand anything that goes on this picture. And I'm just going to believe that this is not how Luke normally looks. But we can't grade Luke. He's only played 3 snaps so far this year. And if that's the way he was looking in training camp, I might see why they was only. But I'm just joking. These are jokes. Every once in a while, you need to joke. But yeah, he's only played 3 snaps this year. So that's why it's incomplete. All right. So let's move on. Right now, we're going to get into the actual grades. And normally, people might do something like this and they might go from the worst to the best. I'm gonna go different. I'm gonna start with the best first, right? I'm gonna start with the people that I actually gave an A of the newcomers, right? And the first person that I'm going to talk about right now, and this might shock you, Case Keenum. And you might be like, what in the world? How has Case Keenum an A? He has not played at all in the regular season. That's fine. He has been, in my opinion, from what I can tell, an excellent mentor for Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent without being a threat, which is key. When you sign these quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks like that are supposed to kind of like help bring the young quarterback along, a lot of times it ends up being a counter thing because the veteran quarterback has to accept the role and has to be like fine with the fact that my job is really not to play unless it's like an emergency situation. My job is to be an extension of the coaching staff, another part of the offensive coordinator's whole role and responsibility, and to be there to answer questions to help Caleb out. He even mentioned that he was answering a lot of questions. Caleb was calling him if he didn't understand something, all this kind of stuff, all through training camp. And from what I can tell, and if you look at the development that Caleb Williams has shown through the first 4 games, obviously Ben Johnson and the coaching staff get some credit, but I also think the Case Keenum needs to get some credit. I think it was a really smart, positive signing for the Bears, and that's why I give it an A. The next A is my man Ruben Hyppolite. Now, this picture of Ruben Hyppolite is a little psychotic. He looks like Ed Reed got possessed or something at some point, but he has played like a man possessed in some instances. I give him an A. I think he's shined with every single chance he's had. Do you realize? I don't know. Take a look at the PFF grades if you can. He has the 3rd highest rated grade of any defensive player. Now, he has done it in a limited amount of snaps, but he's also proven to be one of the Bears' surest tacklers, getting a high grade there. And I overall think that the Bears' young linebacking situation is in a good space. You got Hyppolite, you got Noah Sewell. I think they, playing behind Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, I think the Bears are in a good spot where even if, God forbid, we experience some more injuries in linebackers, obviously we should be getting TJ Edwards back for week 6. I think the Bears are in a decent position with young linebackers in depth where they can bring some people out there. And Hyppolite, if you remember, Ben Johnson named him specifically in training camp when he was talking about people that he was the most impressed with. And I think we're seeing that carry over into the season. I think that the ceiling is super high for Hyppolite, and it's only a matter of time before he finds himself in the starting lineup, whether it's this year or next year. Next up, my next and final A that I gave is my man, Olamide Zaccheaus. Zaccheaus has been a dog, y'all. And we hear a lot about Ryan Poles getting criticism for free agent signings and draft picks, as well as guys that he's traded for. And in some instances, he deserves that smoke. But you also got to give people their flowers when stuff comes out well, right? And Zaccheaus has been a fantastic signing for the Bears through the first 4 games. He's got the 3rd best PFF grade on the team. I think most people who have watched the games would agree, he has been the most dependable chain mover on the team, which is always a very important role in an offense. Now, Odeyingbo's got the big plays, and they haven't really found a way to get DJ Moore in the game all the time. We've seen Luther Burden break out on a couple things, but the chain mover has been Zaccheaus, and I think he absolutely deserves the A grade here. As one of the top newcomers, the top 3 newcomers. You can make the argument. I think he's the best newcomer that the Bears have so far this season, right? So we talked about the A's. Let's go to the B's. I'm going to start it off with the starting center, Drew Dalman. I gave him a B. The 74.4 run block grade is really good, but that 55 pass block grade is not great. So, and you definitely don't want to be, as the center, giving up pressure right up the face of the quarterback, because that is essentially the toughest pressure for any quarterback to deal with, especially a young quarterback. Pressure off the edge is something that he'll be able to deal with better than right up his face. And so maybe it's great or a blessing that the Bears haven't played against a ton of super amazing, strong pass rushing defensive tackles as of yet. Maybe that's a good thing. they maybe that's where we are. But I think overall, still, I think he's been way more positive than negative. The run blocking, I think, has really been strong for him. He's also not been penalized a ton, which has been a problem for Bears offensive linemen, most of them, I would say, throughout the season. So the next B, which is now a B minus, I'm going to give it to Joe Thuney. Now, he was a trade acquisition. The Bears locked him up and then signed him to a 3-year, $51 million extension. He has struggled in run blocking, which is kind of true to form with Thuney. If you look at over the course of his career, he's always been better pass blocker than run blocker. But he's been close to elite as a pass blocker. We're talking a 78.3 pass block grade, 63.6 run block grade. He's right now the 8th highest rated offensive player on the Bears team. But I think overall he's been solid. Hasn't been penalized a lot at all. I have to go back and look at the penalty numbers. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he has been penalized the least of the main offensive linemen that have gotten the majority of the playing time and the majority of the snaps this year. So I think Thuney's only going to get better as the offensive line begins to get better over the course of the year. But I haven't been disappointed with him thus far. The next B minus is my man LB3 Luther Burden III. I think he is an absolutely electric playmaker who gives the Bears a guy who every time he has his hands on the ball, something big can happen. I think there's a matter of time before he makes DJ Moore expendable. I'm going to be honest with y'all. People talking a lot about trades and things like that. I've mentioned it. But if the Bears really wanted to make a splash over the course of this next month, they would find out what they could get for DJ Moore. And if you are able to get a pass rusher, it's a serious situation, a serious conversation you may need to have. If you're able to get maybe even a starting guard and draft capital, because I'm not overly in love with one of the other guys that we're going to talk about on this list. So I don't know. I think you may need to see Luther Burden a little bit more before you go ahead and make that decision. But I believe that Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, and don't get me wrong, I love DJ Moore. I sometimes I don't like his body language. I don't think that he gives off leadership vibes as much as I would like him to. But I do think that he's still a fantastic player. Super talented, but right now there's not a lot of chemistry between him and Caleb. Most of that chemistry is with Odunze, and the Bears have a lot of weapons, which is a luxury. So I don't know, man. If for the right deal, I would not hate a DJ Moore trade, especially if you can find a team that can absorb that big deal, the contract he got. So it'd be interesting. All right, let's go to the C's, guys. Now, of course, we're getting into some places where, for the most part, we might be talking about guys that have been underwhelming. Nick McCloud. So let's offer a little bit of defense for Nick, though, right? He was signed to be a depth guy. And because of injuries at corner, he's been having to play more than maybe normally. Yeah, I mean, Bears only signed him to a 1-year, $1.3 million contract. I think it was something like $50,000 of it was guaranteed, right? So he is understand what that suggests, right? That doesn't sound like a guy that you think is going to play a major role in playing a ton of snaps, but he's had to, right? He has been horrendous against the run. I'm just going to lowest run grade, I think, on the entire team. So offenses, if they can get to the edge against and they get to his side, they're feeling pretty good about their chances, right? And obviously he's a corner. We're not looking for him to be a run stopper, but you don't want it to be where you just that poor of a tackler from a run standpoint. And to add on to that, he's only been just okay against the pass. But because he's playing a bigger role than I think the Bears even intended for him to play, I give him a break. I give him a C minus. I'm interested to see how he looks if he gets to be kind of scaled down some and doesn't get pushed into positions where he's essentially playing above where he should be playing. Next up, we got to see, which is Devin Duvernay. I think he's been pretty much mediocre on returns. He is an absolute specialist. This is what you get him in there for. He is a kick punt returner. And while he hasn't been terrible, the there's a lot of pressure on you when you're a special team specialist. You have to make plays. Josh Blackwell's a specialist in special teams. He's put in a position he has to make plays. Kickers are the same way. They get more opportunities than the other guys, but this is what it is. And I don't think that Devin Duvernay has had a single return this year where it felt like, to me, he put pressure on the other team's unit to feel like, oh man, he might go. Obviously, this isn't all on him. It's all about special teams blocking and that sort of thing too. But even when you look at the grade, 60.5 on kickoff, 65.4 on punts, I think he's been pretty mediocre. He's 1 year, $1.17 million deal. Unless something snaps and goes big towards the end of this season, I would not be shocked if the Bears do not bring him back next year. All right, next up, we got a C+ Durham Smythe. He's been, I think, pretty solid as a tight end grade, right? Solid as a third tight end. I think he's filled in pretty well as a reserve. He's probably played a smidge more than what the Bears would want him to, because one of the other guys on this list hasn't been available as much as we would like. But overall, I think he's been pretty decent. Nothing to write home about, but also I don't think that he's cost the Bears anything. So pretty low risk kind of a signing. 1 year, was it $2.5 million? 1.5 million of that was guaranteed. Not too bad, right? Next up, Ozzy Trapilo. I could have gone lower. I want to be honest with you. I could have gone lower, but I'm going to be honest why I didn't is because Ozzy's only played 40 snaps, and I don't know if that's his fault or if that's the coaching staff. Maybe he hasn't been developed. Maybe they didn't trust him early enough. I don't know. But that grade at 29.5 in pass blocking, and I understand the Bears played the Raiders last week or week before last, and that, pass rush and Max Crosby and blah, blah, blah. I get it. So that's the only reason I only gave him a C+, because the lack of snaps and the low grade against the Raiders. Now, the Bears did run the ball better and just overall protect Caleb Williams better in the second half when he got on the field. But in totality, over the course of these 4 weeks, the best I think we could do for Ozzy Trapilo is a C+. But here's the thing about all of the rookies. So let me put this into perspective for the rookies that I've already talked about, as well as Trapilo and the ones I'm going to talk about in the future, in the next few slides. This is just week 4 of their rookie seasons. A lot can, will, and probably will change. So just keep that in mind as I say this. What I'm talking about now is over the first 4 games, right? Keep that in mind as we move to this next fella, Theo Benedet. Now, the Bears fans I'm looking at some of the stuff people are saying in comment sections, man. People are talking about Theo Benedet like he is Joe Thomas, Jonathan Ogden, and Panay Sewell. Like, it's like they are really talking. Like, I'm like, okay, y'all, let's relax. The actual PFF grades were 49.2 against the run, run blocking, 43.3 in pass blocking. It's not too shabby in the first start. I said that. But he was getting mauled by Max Crosby. Now, Max Crosby, I said it's in previous videos, is one of the best in the NFL. He is. And Benedet is a rookie, and this is first look at this kind of talent. But I did think he got destroyed. So I don't think that there's enough here for us to be super excited. We can be optimistic, but I don't think we should be leaning towards, oh, yeah, the answer is at left tackle right now. No, it's not. Honestly, and I'm a little concerned because of Ozzy Trapilo. The thought with Trapilo is that his feet are too slow to play the left side. So if he is destined to be a right tackle, and we've never seen Donnell Wright or haven't seen Donnell Wright at left tackle, that means unless Theo Benedet is the guy, we don't have a left tackle. So I don't understand. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But right now, the best I can do here is a C+. Staying on the offensive line, C+. I mentioned him without saying his name just a few slides ago. Jonah Jackson sitting here looking like he is a member of the bloodline. He definitely like he wants you to acknowledge him. Like, he looks like, I'm telling you, like they're redoing the bloodline story and look like Jey Uso might be the new tribal chief. Jonah Jackson really looks like he could be in the bloodline. I wish he was playing like a tribal chief, but he is not playing like a tribal chief. He's playing like Solo Sikoa right now. C+ is the grade I have. penalties have been an issue, y'all. I just got to be real with you, man. Like Jonah Jackson's penalty situation is troubling to me. He's got 4 of them, right? Now, I will say this. He's not number one. Donnell Wright's got 6, which is unacceptable. But Jonah Jackson at the guard spot has 4 penalties already this season. If I'm going to be honest with you, it feels like more than that. If I'm just being real with you, it feels like more than that. On top of that, the grades have not been off the chart. 54.2 pass blocking, 56 run blocking. He's the 17th highest rated Bear on offense. That's not great. It's not great at all. And if you think about this, the Bears traded for him, and I believe they extended him 3 years, 50. Man, come on, no, I gotta look and see how much he got paid. But y'all, it hasn't been great. I think I have been really, honestly, I might be being too generous with this grade, because he has not played like quite up to this. I'm actually taking a look right now on SpotRack just to see exactly his. Oh yes, 3 years, $52.5 million contract with the Bears. 29.7 million of it's guaranteed. He has not played like that at all, guys. Not at all. So I'm gonna need the tribal thief, because right now he's stealing that money. I'm gonna need the tribal thief to come in and come through with it. I'm joking, but I'm not. I want him to come through. C+ is the best I can do. We're moving on to Cal Monangai. This, I got an answer for a major question for you, with you guys, with Cal Monangai. Well, at least I think I may be on to something here. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit anal with this. I should have slid that up a little bit to keep that S on the same line with limited opportunities. But nonetheless, I give him a C+, right? I think that when he's had an opportunity, I see the flashes of him being a physical downhill runner, which is something that the Bears really need. I don't know why. Well, I think I know why, but his carries have dramatically decreased every game. And that's obviously not going to give him much of a chance. But I think I may know why he's not getting more opportunities. So everybody out here who is really calling for Kyle Monangai to play more, let's talk about this pass blocking grade. And I'm going to explain to you why, if you don't know, why that's such a big deal and why it limits the opportunities. He has the lowest pass blocking grade on the team so far this year. His pass blocking grade is 16.4, which is really freaking low, right? He's been only on the field for 7 pass blocking situations. There's probably a reason for that. Through training camp, it appears that Kyle Monangai did not at all put himself in a position to, he did not show good technique as a pass blocker. He did not show that he could excel in that situation. And it has proven out in his games during the season, which is why his pass blocking grade is so low. Now, here's why that's a big deal. You might say, so what? Who cares? We're just handing the ball. We need him to go downhill. But that's the thing. Defenses see him coming, right? Because he doesn't pass block well, if he's in the backfield, for the most part, you're automatically assuming it's a run. Because if the word is that the Bears do not trust him to pick up a blitzer, pick up a guy who comes in free if he beats the offensive lineman, if the Bears don't trust him in that situation and they're trying to protect Caleb, if he's back there, it's probably a run. And so those sort of tails from a personnel standpoint are not a good thing. I think we saw something similar with Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert was a fantastic runner with the ball, but he was terrible as a pass blocker. And the amount of carries he got suffered. He ended up not on the actual team. So that is a big reason why I believe that Kyle Monangai is not getting as many opportunities. Can he clean that up? I don't know. But if the Bears do make a deal to get a running back, that may be why they go there, more so than, oh, he's not getting the opportunities, or when he goes downhill, he doesn't get anything. They may want someone who actually is a more balanced runner at this point in their career. and can help in pass blocking as well as hopefully get downhill. Just saying, that's something to keep in mind. Keep in mind, it's not something I'm hearing people saying when they talk a lot about or when they're asking for more Kyle Monangai. All right, let's go to the D's. D is for Dayo right now. Dayo Odeyingbo has not been it. I'm just telling y'all right now. 3 years, $48 million, $29.5 million of that guaranteed. He is approaching a bust grade. And I get it. It's only through 4 games, so we got to slow our horses a little bit. You can't call anybody a bust through 4 games unless they already got a season-ending injury and it was only a 1-year deal. So you cannot call him a bust, right? But I can tell you right now, he is ranked 5th in pass rush grades. You know who's ranked higher than him as a pass rusher? Jaquan freaking Brisker, and he's a safety. And obviously, he's not going against offensive linemen and having the same responsibility. But the Bears having to depend on Jaquan Brisker to get pressure, it shows you just how much the front four isn't getting pressure. And Dayo is one of the guys that was brought in to do this, and he hasn't done it. He's the 18th ranked defensive player from a PFF grade standpoint. 64.2 pass rush, 5th best on the team. That's a D, y'all. Some people might even say it's an F, but he had a good week 1 against a backup left tackle that the Vikings had, and against a rookie quarterback who was clearly overwhelmed early on in the game. I'm just saying it's not been good. The next D, some of y'all might have a problem with, but I got to tell you, Colston Loveland. I still have high hopes for Colston Loveland, and I'm grading him harsher because he's a first-round pick. He has shown flashes. I think it's a 35-yard reception against the Dallas Cowboys, but he got hurt. But like I said, he's been mostly unavailable. And the best ability is availability, y'all. And like I said, this is early in the season. He can easily turn this around. He should be healthy to play week 6 against Washington. And he may have a game where he goes 5 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. And now everything changes. It could happen. And if it does, I'd take his grade up to a C at that point. And if it keeps on happening, then now we approach an A is still feasible for him. It's only week 5 or week going into week 6. It's still feasible, and he's still young. And this is not an indictment on him. I'm not throwing his whole career in the garbage. But through the first 4 games, what the Bears have gotten from their first-round pick is not enough to get anything more than a D. I'm just telling you. Now we're going into that nasty word, that nasty letter. F is a nasty letter. It's nasty, but we're going into it. The F, the first F is Shemar Turner. Now, you got to think about this. You got to understand it. Shemar Turner's a 2nd-round pick, y'all. 2nd round. People chosen in the 2nd round are expected to make an impact sooner rather than later. I'm not trying to say he should be Aaron Donald or Jeffrey Simmons or anybody like that. I'm not saying that. But only 38 snaps. He is the lowest rated defensive player on the team in those snaps. And Bears fans simply haven't seen enough of him to think anything positive. And they asked Ben Johnson about him. They said, well, he was hurt during the training camp, so he missed a lot. And so it's sounding more and more like, unless Shemar is a crazy fast study during the season, this whole year might be mostly a wash. And I'm going to tell you something. You know what I'm beginning to feel like with this? You know what this is? This is beginning to feel a little bit like Zach Pickens to me. That's what it's beginning to feel like. So the Bears drafted Zach Pickens out of South Carolina. He's still only 25 years old, but the Bears recently let him go. He ended up signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. He never made an impact with the Bears. Never did anything, right? Only 25 years old, so it's not done. But in all those years, right, he played in a total of 26 games, got 3 starts, got 1.5 sacks, 5 pressures. That is not an impact, obviously. And he was a 3rd round pick. Shemar Turner's a 2nd round pick. Right now, I mean, we're lying to ourselves if we give him anything but an F. It's week 4, though. Let's see if it changes, but that's where we are. The final F, y'all, has got to be this guy, Grady Jarrett. Now, I was over the moon for the way Grady Jarrett presented himself at the press conference. I'm like, the Bears got a defensive leader, man. He wearing number 50. It's on point, right? I'm feeling good. And I saw all of the talk, he's been banged up. He's a little old for this deal that the Bears just gave him. And I wanted to be optimistic. I wanted to be positive about it. 3 years, $42.7 million, $28.5 million guaranteed. I wanted to be just thankful about it. I'm gonna be one thing. This is a non-football thing. Grady, I'm gonna need you to come on down here with me. Come on with me over here. Just let it come on like this here. This is what we need. This is what you got to do. That what you're doing there, you at that point, man, with you trying to braid your imagination here in the front. You at the point where you go into the barber and the barber just step back and look at you and say, so what you want to do? We almost there. So I'm just saying this ain't got nothing to do with the game, but this is just me to you, and if you ever see me, don't kill me because I know you can. I'm just saying though, just what it is. But 55.7 defensive grade for him. Overall, underwhelming on the field. And now the injuries are starting to happen. Thankfully, it is a bye week. So Grady can get healthy, hopefully, and play in week 6, and hopefully he'll be fresh. But teams have run the ball really well against the Bears. And who do you look at when that happens? You look at the person, the starting defensive tackles, especially when they're having success running up the middle, which is what teams have had against the Bears. So those are my Fs. We got 2 Fs. Anybody that's got an F, it could go up at this point. And, but that's where we are. I'm excited for week 6, though. I'm excited for week 6. I'm picking the Bears to win, picking the Bears to win a close game. And so we'll see what happens. But in any case, if you have not yet liked this video or subscribed, please do so. As always, I appreciate you watching. God bless you and peace.